Could be arrested.
All right, now listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That was the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Max World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Matt 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
Good afternoon, 3:06 on the 14th day of June in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is Max World Live here on The Truth, 99.3 FM. Is it just me? Is it just me, or does it feel like everything's coming undone? It feels like everything is coming undone. Now, I've got some local news stories that I'm going to share with you, and I didn't put them together with the theme, everything's coming undone. And Chris, you don't know about this yet, right?
Correct.
Wait till you hear 3 local news stories, and it will show you how everything's coming undone. And what do I mean in that? It's like society. We all stuck pennies in the light sockets, and we're taking that jolt right now, and nobody knows where to stand or where to walk or where to call or where to cry or where to pray to. It's just crazy. Let's start with the, we're going to get to the national news, okay? There is a huge update on this Matin, is that his name?
Mateen. Omar Mateen. Yeah.
All right. And Jebediah, you jump in here because this is literally breaking not as we speak, but here in the last couple of hours. It seems that this Mateen,
no R.
I'm sorry, Mateen is a regular customer at this nightclub.
Yeah, it appears that he was anyway. He's not anymore.
Ty Smith, who goes by the name Aries, also said he'd seen Mateen being escorted from the club many times. He'd get really drunk. He couldn't drink when he was at home around his wife or family. His father was really strict. He used to complain about it, Smith told the Canadian Press. Sometimes he would go over to the corner and sit and drink by himself, and other times he would get so drunk he was loud and belligerent, Smith also explained to the Orlando Sentinel, which spoke with at least 4 other clubgoers who remembered seeing Mateen at Pulse at least, are you ready? 12 times. Apparently, he would also go there with his wife, and she also would participate. In one instance, the Canadian Press were told they stopped speaking to Mateen after he threatened them with a knife, apparently after someone made a joke about his religion. He ended up pulling a knife. He said if he ever messed with him again, well, you know how that'll turn out. And now, have they arrested her, Jebediah? Is that what we've heard or what we've thought? Because apparently she went with him to buy all the ammunition that he needed for this thing, for this attack.
Yeah, I don't know if she's under arrest quite yet. They're looking into it. They're saying on NBC, the wife of Orlando terrorist Omar Mateen was right by his side. She was right by his side as he bought ammunition, even drove him once to the Pulse nightclub, but tried to talk him out of the attack while they were there.
So the MSN, whatever, that report says, if you heard that right, she tried to talk him out of the attack. If that's accurate, then she's definitely, there's some criminal charges here because she knew about what he planned to do and didn't turn him in.
Yeah. He also was on MSNBC's Chris Hayes, also spoke to a man who claims he and a friend received messages from Mateen via a gay dating app. The full story is set to air tonight on Hayes' show. Now, why is any of this important? Are we standing too close to the barbecue and we're beginning to smell those ribs cooking, but they're not even close to cooking, and so we're just enjoying the smell? Or does this change anything? What is this? 48 people are still killed by him.
Right.
He still called 911 and pledged to ISIS.
Right.
He was violent at work,
right,
and they were afraid to fire him.
Right.
In fact, one of the guys that he worked for at the security company was on one of the channels last night, and he was in tears. He said, I can't believe that I did not step up and do something about this, because I knew he was a challenge and a problem. Those 48 people might be alive today if he had done what his conscience now is telling him to do. Frank?
The left is desperate to paint this anything but a terrorist attack that is associated with ISIS or Islam.
Well,
with ISIS or ISIL.
But here's the interesting thing, right, about this is this article simply says, Frank, that he frequented this club. Now, did he frequent this? So you can speculate. You can speculate he frequented this club because he was gay himself. You can speculate that he frequented this club because he was
scoping it out.
Thank you, Frank. He was scoping it out. He was checking it out. He wanted to make sure. Maybe he was just scoping it out to get up the nerve to do it, kind of continue to enrage himself, remind himself how much hate he had for these people. I mean, that's the kind of, who knows what it could be. But it doesn't, I don't know that it changes the narrative, but it does give us more information, and it tells me that this gentleman was not well mentally. In the very simple sense of he was a rageaholic, okay, for lack of a better word. The guy was angry.
Well, there's already been some efforts to try to blame the right, blame Christian and conservative homophobia for this guy's issues to start with. So they're looking for an avenue to get out from underneath this story. The left is. And, I don't know whether it'll work or not. It's just how gullible the people who watch the media is. But they just absolutely, they abhor the idea that this is a terrorist attack on a homosexual community, because that's going to disrupt their whole narrative, and they're going to have to go back and rethink this all over again, because they certainly wouldn't want Christians and gays standing arm in arm against terrorism.
Yeah, that's the picture we talked about yesterday. All right, so that's just where this is at. We're not going to spend any more time on this. You're surrounded by this on every other channel. Let's get to some crazy stuff that's going on right here in Des Moines.
Thanks,
Frank.
Oh, just one quick note before we jump off that. Hillary Clinton last night was actually pushed into a corner by Donald Trump's rhetoric, and she actually come out and said, well, I'm not afraid to use the word radical jihadist. She didn't actually call it radical jihadism, but I'm not afraid to use that term. So we've at least got Hillary off the snide to at least be able to utter those words, which Obama will never utter those words.
All right. I didn't know if you knew this. There was a 16-year-old girl missing in Pleasant Hill. However, she has been found. She was located yesterday after police asked for the public's help to locate her. She is described, well, it doesn't matter how she's described. She was located and returned home safely. How many ways are you going to read between the lines on there? Searched out to the public, found out where she was, returned home safely. 16-year-old, I mean, doesn't it just sound like she ran away, or mom and dad didn't know where she was or something? I don't know.
It depends. I mean, there's really not enough information on that story, but I can say it's good news. I'm sure the family's happy that she's home. I hope that the young girl is happy that she's home too.
All right. A woman pulled a handgun on a Burger King drive-thru worker after claiming she'd been mistreated while making her order. Now, where do you think this is, Chris? You think this is, Detroit? Maybe Jackson, Mississippi? Maybe Orlando, Florida, right?
Martin Luther King Boulevard, Des Moines, Iowa.
2222 Martin Luther King Parkway. 8:53 p.m. Monday night, a report of a dispute with a weapon. A 41-year-old employee told police she had a miscommunication with a customer who pulled up and brandished a handgun and shouted threats at her. What did I say at the top of the hour? We're coming undone. A couple pulled up to the drive-thru window and started shouting at the employee, who said she apologized and tried to explain that it's too hard to hear what's coming through the drive-thru microphone. The female in the passenger seat yelled, "I'll blow your head off," and told the employee to go back to the south side because that's where all the white people are. The employee said she apologized again, but the angry customer said she'd stick around until she was off work. That's when the woman pulled out a small handgun, placing it on the center console. The manager stepped in, and after a short shouting match, the couple drove off. Police have not identified any suspects at this time. Burger King.
It's just so much anger. So, you know what I mean? There's just...
A Des Moines man told police that he had fallen asleep in a sweltering hot car.
Yuck.
While his 6-month-old son died from heat exposure in the back seat. Yes, this is in Des Moines. Lance Jordan Williams Sr., 35, is in jail on child endangerment charge after authorities determined that the baby had been left in the car all Saturday afternoon while the outside temperature approached 90 degrees. Based on interviews with Williams and witnesses, police say they believed Williams parked his 1998 Dodge Caravan outside the Barber Shop Fresh at 501 Euclid Avenue, went inside the barber shop for quote-unquote an extended period of time before the child was found unresponsive. Williams initially told police a different story, according to the report. He said that he parked behind the business with his son in the back seat and started to play a game on his phone, and then the car turned off. All right. It just keeps coming, you know? Just keeps coming. We'll be back. David Johnson later on here with Tom Coates on The Truth, 99.3.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3:21 in the afternoon. What a great month to buy a house, right? June, huh? You know that your house will probably sell for 7 to 10% more this summer than it ever would have sold for before. There's no houses. There's more buyers than there is houses. That's what's called a seller's market. I would call my man, Seth Walker, at 577-3728 and talk to him about what your house might be worth right now, putting it on the market, what you might be able to buy out there at a good price. I know that sounds contradictory, but you never know. What you do know is you work with a professional. His name is Seth Walker, and I encourage you to work with him. Tell him Max sent you, 577-3728. You want a little good news? Out of Orlando, Florida? Guess what Chick-fil-A did on Sunday? No, wait a minute. Hold on. Chick-fil-A is a Christian organization, right? And they're closed on Sunday.
Yeah, so that's right.
They couldn't have done anything on Sunday, right?
They handed out sandwiches to all the emergency workers.
They opened up, not to the public. They made chicken sandwiches, and they took them to the emergency workers and also to everybody giving blood. So if you were standing in line to give blood or you were working at the blood bank, then Chick-fil-A got a free you got a free sandwich from Chick-fil-A. I just love that organization.
2 for 2 today. I've actually guessed 2 things right.
I wonder,
the Martin Luther King, Burger King, and this story.
I wonder what the mayor of New York thought about that.
Okay, help me.
Well, he didn't want Chick-fil-A to come. He was encouraging a boycott of Chick-fil-A in New York City.
Right.
Because they were Christian?
Right.
Because they're, quote, the lie of the media is that they're anti-gay organization. They make chicken sandwiches, people. Calm down.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, they make chicken sandwiches.
So that boycott that he proposed failed again.
So is Chick-fil-A in New York then?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. On the square, right? In Times Square, no?
I think it's right across from Fox News. I know that.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's smart. If they can get in the window behind Fox News, that's pretty good marketing.
Fox News covered it.
Did they really?
They went over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so see, there is some good news.
Hey, and guess what? Speaking of good news regarding Chick-fil-A, no, I'm not getting paid for this, although I'd love to be getting paid for this. There is going to be a Chick-fil-A opening up soon. If you've seen the construction on Merle Hay Road right here outside the studio, they're in the process of building a Chick-fil-A right now. In fact, the plywood walls, the beginnings of the structure are up now. Just saw them earlier today.
I don't know.
There will be a Chick-fil-A right there on Merle Hay.
Do they have a sign out there?
Yep.
Oh.
They do. It's
right
not super visible, but we should be in the coming weeks have the new owner of the new Chick-fil-A on the air with us here pretty soon.
Is anybody protesting?
No, not yet. There's plenty of time, though. We can organize one. You want to organize a protest? It'll be good publicity for all of us.
Yes, we want free sandwiches.
So this was kind of fun for me since I built restaurants all my life. I like to go when they're building a restaurant, like when they're putting the plumbing in the ground, and then that's always below the sand and below the dirt, and you've got your PVC pipes and your other pipes that come out. And I like to walk around and try to figure out, okay, what's that for? And there's a drain, and that's going to be for the hood. And they've got beautiful kitchens, and they're big. They're big. I mean, as far as large. All right, so
you're talking about size.
Size, yeah, they're good news, and I don't know why. I mean, it's just true. They do have the best chicken sandwiches.
They do.
But that goes to show you if you focus on something and they want to make it excellent. You don't get a whole lot of other stuff there. So if you don't want a chicken sandwich, it's probably not your place to go.
Yeah, there's only salads, right?
Pretty much.
No, they have more.
Do they do nuggets and sandwiches
and salads and wraps and
but it's only chicken.
Well, they do have sausage breakfast.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I bet it's chicken sausage.
That'd be interesting. I don't know.
I'll bet it is.
Well, as somebody who's never ate the food, my daughter tells me the service is wonderful. The food isn't that great.
Oh, no. I think, man, you've never had a Chick-fil-A sandwich?
No.
There's no pork in it, Frank. It's okay.
You could eat it.
Okay.
It's all right.
All right, I'll do it.
God says it's okay.
I'll buy you your first Chick-fil-A sandwich because it is.
Right.
I don't know why they're always so good. It's just they're just that good. I like the one that has the little kick to it.
Yep.
And then put pepper jack on it, and then like 8 pickles.
Okay. If we're talking about weird Chick-fil-A things, French fries, right? They have the waffle fries.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jesse, you know what I'm getting ready to say. It's the only place in the world where I'll go eat French fries with mayonnaise. A waffle fry dipped in mayonnaise.
Really?
I'll ketchup or nothing anywhere else, but Chick-fil-A, a waffle fry with mayonnaise, my favorite thing.
Why?
Really?
I have no idea. And what's really funny
So
is
if you go someplace else that has waffle fries, you don't use mayonnaise?
I don't use mayonnaise. And what's really funny is they've got 2 different kinds of this is crazy. They really should be paying us for this. They have 2 different kinds of mayonnaise packets there. They have like the name brand mayonnaise packets, and then they have these Chick-fil-A mayonnaise packets. And I only use the Chick-fil-A mayonnaise packets. It's a really strange thing, but there it is.
So it's the mayonnaise, not the waffle fries? Or is that what you're saying?
It's the mayonnaise,
not the
waffle
fries?
It might be, to be honest with you. It's their mayonnaise with those waffle fries, just a perfect combination.
Well, have you ever taken their mayonnaise to another restaurant that has waffle fries and tried to put that? That's what you should do. Figure this out, Mr. Rocket Scientist.
I just got a text from our IT engineer who said his wife does the same thing. What is it? What is it about waffle fries and mayonnaise?
Now I'm going to have to try that.
You should try it. It's a thing.
Is there
it's
anything
a revolution
in the mayo, like pickles, diced pickles?
No, it's actually it's a very pure mayonnaise. It's a very
pure,
real.
You know what I mean?
Like
it doesn't-
moral, like good standards, integrity.
I'm sure it is. It's a Christian place.
That mayonnaise glorified God.
Real mayonnaise as opposed to salad dressing.
Right? Yeah, real mayonnaise. This is a weird conversation, but it's really true. And our good friend Jesse is like that too.
Jesse Bunny.
Yeah, he does the same thing, so he knows what I'm talking about. We had one of the first times we met was eating Chick-fil-A, and I did that, and he goes, "I do that too." Anyway, so
well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go get some of that mayonnaise, and then we're gonna go someplace else that has waffle fries.
Just doesn't sound good.
Well, but we gotta try it though. You gotta figure out whether it's the mayo or the fries. Because if it's the fries, then you could do that with any mayo anywhere.
It's the atmosphere.
Doesn't the Pizza Ranch have the waffle fries?
Yeah.
They're not as good.
No.
Oh.
They're not as good.
Well, of course they're not, because that comes off of a buffet.
Yeah, but you know what? Man, this is crazy. But the most random thing at Pizza Ranch, I love their chips, though. Those homemade potato chips, those are outstanding. And if I can get one that's like not fully, that's kind of raw, that's good stuff.
Wow.
Okay.
We all have weird eating habits. Oh, and by the way, you cannot get pickles at Arby's. It's a proven fact.
You cannot get pickles at Arby's. I was so upset when we went through Lent, and I would go and eat fish sandwiches at different places, and I would order pickles. Arby's has no pickles.
Yep.
You have your refrigerator in your trunk, and you bring pickles with you.
I guess. I don't know. Now, we just wasted 2 minutes. Good time. Here's a sad story, and nobody's to blame, and it's not about the world falling apart. It's just how life is in a broken world. A newborn daughter of a very beloved Mississippi surgeon died Wednesday, 1 week after her mother died during childbirth. Dr. Nikki Patterson, 40, died June 1. An official cause of death wasn't released at the time, but Beth Cook, a woman who identified herself as the doctor's friend, said in a Facebook post, look at this, now we're getting news from Facebook, that Patterson died of a pulmonary embolism while in natural labor. Shortly after Patterson's death, her daughter was taken to Batson Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi. The community is now mourning not only the surgeon, but also her daughter. Both were in the obituaries this week in Jackson, Mississippi. Mississippi is one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the nation, more than double the national average. Mississippi State Department of Health statistics show almost 40 maternal deaths per every 100,000 births in the state. That's weird. You would think in 2016, in the United States of America, we would have consistent health care across the board. But apparently in Mississippi, it's not so. So what a sad situation for that family. They're going to bury their mom or their wife, and they're going to bury their newborn daughter all at the same time. And we think we got it tough. Right?
Yeah.
That's the reason I read stories like that. Because at the end of it, and we think we've got it. Whatever's you're going through today, and it's probably terrible. I mean, it just seems that the accuser's got his way with everybody right now. Crazy stuff. We have politicians running that neither, I'm sorry, Frank, neither one of them are fit to run an office, run the presidency. And yet we're bound to get one of those two, and we chose that. We chose that.
Or the system did, anyway. I mean, you can say on the Democrat side, the superdelegates helped. You know, we were talking about this at lunch today. You had a lot of open primaries as well, where you had Democrats jump over and vote for Donald Trump, not Republicans necessarily in some of those open primary states. We talked about that on the air, too.
Yep.
So, I mean, the system, those are the people that we've got. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of the apathy. We take our freedoms for granted. We take the fact that we get a vote. We take the fact that the United States is built on we the people. Look, I'm 38 years old. I've lived my whole life taking that for granted. I've never taken that seriously, and it's my fault and many other people like me. Well,
if GOP senators and congressmen had done the job that they were supposed to do the last number of elections that they were sent up there to do it, this likely wouldn't have happened this way. Donald Trump may not be the nominee, but because people are so ticked that their officials have lied to them and went up and done exactly opposite of what they said they were going to do when they got to D.C., it's just a throw them all out mentality, and they're begging, like Israel begged for a king, they're begging for an outsider. Give us an outsider.
So we go from a woman who's banishing a gun through a drive-in window at Burger King in Des Moines, Iowa, to a guy who, for whatever reason, is being accused of killing his newborn child in a hot car seat last Saturday in Des Moines. That's just sad. Just sad. Believe it, guys. I'm trying to find good, positive news to share. Oh, they found the girl in Pleasant Hill. We talked about that.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
That's a good Pleasant.
I've got another one here on
good one?
Service Legends text line, Truth text line. Yeah, we're talking about how the good things that Chick-fil-A were doing for people out there in Orlando. This one says, I think it's noteworthy to mention the different churches in Florida that are willing to host funerals for free for the shooting victims.
Really? That's nice. Well, hold on. Funerals for free? Do churches charge for funerals?
Well, if you wanted to rent their facility.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then whatever they provide at a funeral, flowers and staff or whatever.
All right.
That's not my world. It's not my business.
Meaning
I don't know how the business aspect of that works.
I almost thought about flying down to Orlando for a couple of days because Orlando flies in Allegiant. And so you could fly down and back for a couple $100 and just to feel what it's like in that community right now. But I think because it would be so foreign to me just regularly because it's Orlando, Florida, and not Des Moines, Iowa, I don't know if I'd really notice, that it was that strange. It's interesting because the national news organizations do not have the depth in national reporting that they used to. They're using some of the local reporters from the local affiliates in Orlando to use on the national news. And it's kind of nice to get that perception, that perspective of these local news reporters because they know what's going on. All right. Senator David Johnson is coming in just a little bit. He is the Republican state senator who says he's walking from the Republican Party if Donald Trump is the nominee. We'll talk to him and Tom Coates a little bit later, live here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer. I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs,
And I'm the service manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. .338, 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then we'll be looking forward to having Senator David Johnson in. David is a state senator. Do you know what district he's from by off the top of your head?
I don't. He's up in the northern part of the state, and he can tell us.
First district?
First, yep.
Oh, okay. And so he's going to be in here, and I want to make sure I get this right. He is the sitting state senator who has threatened to or who has pulled out of the Republican Party.
We'll have to hear this from him. I know how it was reported last week, Mac. Let's not prejudge this. Let's let him tell us where he's at on this position.
All right, so that's what's going on here. Did you happen to hear the news stories we read earlier?
I was listening. You guys, doing a good till we got the Chick-fil-A. Now, the Chick-fil-A sauce is the key, Mac.
It's the sauce?
It's the sauce.
Now
you have to specifically ask for it. It is a special formulated yellow sauce, and you put that on the sandwich, and it makes it twice as good. And It is the best chicken sandwich in town. I agree with that. And I love the organization. And just because the president of the organization said he supported traditional marriage, it put everybody like the New York mayor that you mentioned into a tailspin. How can you possibly support traditional marriage in this country? But it's a great organization. They close on Sundays. They take care of their people. They have some of the best customer service. You guys are right on. You just forgot to mention the Chick-fil-A sauce. Ask for it specially.
The sauce.
The sauce.
And it's not the mayonnaise.
No.
This is good. This comes in the little plastic. The little plastic container, cup,
little cup, and you have to ask for it. But it makes that chicken sandwich so much better, guys. If you haven't had it, try it.
Well, I just think we should. Do they deliver Chick-fil-A?
I don't know. If any Chick-fil-A employees are listening, we'd love some sandwiches.
Oh, you are sad.
What? I could eat.
Well, if they're going to bring sandwiches, they need to bring the special yellow sauce, the waffle fries, and the mayonnaise.
Oh, and by the way, the Chick-fil-A store off the mall, not in the mall, but off the mall, I can't remember the owner's name.
Larry.
Was a sponsor of the Iowa Prayer Breakfast last year.
Yes,
and,
very awesome.
So, again, we have another reason to be grateful to that organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they'll now have 4 or 5 locations in central Iowa. They've got West Des Moines. They've got West Des Moines, the mall. They've got West Des Moines on University. They'll have Merle Mall. They've got Ankeny.
And Ames.
And I'm assuming they've got one somewhere on the south side, I would assume. Probably on northeast.
Now, they only let one guy, I think they only let one party own one. So each one, I think, had, because the fellow that owns the one outside the mall had to give up his store in the mall to get the one outside the mall.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. That's absolutely
They only
true.
let you own one franchise?
I think that, yeah.
Why? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, you'd have to ask them. You know, most franchises, they favor one or two people, and they let them kind of have a monopoly. But with Chick-fil-A, they do things a little differently in a lot of ways, and I think they feel like they do not want to get some big players. They want to get individuals that have a special vested interest in that store. I'm going to suppose that that's it, Mac, because I think when you're focused on one store and you work in that store and you're focused on it, you're going to have better customer service than if you owned a whole bunch of them across the state.
Yeah, I agree. And Tom, I don't know if you heard me say this, we should be having the new owner he doesn't live locally. I think he's moving here. The new owner for the one here on Merle Hay.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be on the radio with us hopefully in a couple of weeks. We're getting that worked out. So we're looking forward to we'll get to ask him that question and find out
what's in the special sauce.
I don't know.
They could tell you, but they'd have to do you in, Mac.
That's right.
Special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onion on a sesame seed bun. But
that's a different place.
Yeah, that's different. All right.
They don't pay us either.
An update. This is not that type of radio program. I know you're the sales-driven guy, but we talk about what we talk about, and, that's just it. I'd like to thank Seth Walker for being my real estate agent. He pays us.
He does.
All right. So have you heard the latest on this Mateen guy, this terrorist shooter?
Well, tell me what the latest is, and I'll tell you if I've heard of it.
Well, apparently, his wife, who had come out and said he was unstable and abusive, now the police are saying that she went around when he bought the ammo and bought the ammo with him, which means she would know what was going on. It's also saying that he, Mateen, had been at this nightclub a dozen or more times as a customer. And one time he got really drunk. He couldn't drink at home around his wife or family. His father was very strict, and he'd complain about it, said one of the customers called Aries, told the Canadian press. Sometimes he'd just go over in the corner and sit and drink by himself, and other times he'd get so drunk and loud and belligerent. I can tell you.
Mac, are we so desperate to look for the backstory and the motivation here because they do not want to assign it to radical Islamic views that they are so desperate to come up with other reasons? He was a closeted homosexual. He was abused as a child. He was this. He was that. If they were less willing, in fact, in some of the other slayings that we've seen in the past, when they can quickly assign a motive that fits their narrative, I don't think they dig into it like this. It was what it seems to me, Frank.
Well, have you seen the stories on the father? Now, supposedly the father's come out and...
You're talking about the killer's father?
The killer's father.
He's alleged. No, I guess he's dead, so I can say killer.
A couple of videos that he's, or a couple of times on the news where he says, oh, this is terrible, whatever. But he's got YouTube videos posted all over in which he's the president of Afghan and he's against this, against that. He thinks American culture's stupid, etc. I think they've got him on tape saying he's against the homosexuals.
Yes, I've seen that.
So
they got the kid or the father?
No, the father.
The father.
Okay.
The father.
So he's trying to cover his backside, as they say, because the FBI is probably going to take a good, long, hard look at him.
Well, probably are. Again, this is consistent with Sharia law. I mean, it is not a one-off. My friend the other day that I was speaking to said, well, another crazy person. No, No, he's consistent with their teachings.
Yeah.
It's like the cartoon that I said about the guy that said, I think women have no rights and the gays ought to be hung. Oh, you're a hateful conservative. No, I'm actually a Muslim, and that's my religious beliefs. Oh, and then the liberal woman says, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't come across as Islamophobic.
Well, our caller Tony yesterday, I think I mentioned this to you on the phone, he put forth the notion that the Muslims, is there a good Muslim? And I'm not taking this position, but he's putting forth the idea that it's a Trojan horse, that the way you push something into the country, I was always told in the 60s, whether it was the communism, you overthrow from within. And the best way for Sharia law to get in here is to put in a bunch of quote-unquote peaceful Muslims. That helps usher in the more radical elements. And before you know it, you've got a world population of 1.6 billion that explodes because they're having about 5 kids per woman.
Right. Well, did you see the poll out, Frank, just this last week showing that 99% of Afghanis that were migrating to this country wanted to live under Sharia law?
Yes, they absolutely.
And a good-sized percentage of them, 20 to 25% that they have surveyed on another poll, showed that they thought violence was acceptable to achieve living under Sharia law. Now, is that really the kind of people we want to bring tens of thousands of those in on a regular basis? Do we really want that? And then we're looking at Europe. We said the other day, Matt.
Right.
I mean, all you got to do is look across the pond and what's going over in Europe. That's the driving force on why the Great Britain is looking to get out of the EU. The immigration is the top issue for them.
Yeah.
Obama views us as an imperialist country that's just went around raping and pillaging from other countries, and we need to be taken down a peg in him and Michelle's estimation.
There's no question. The remaking of America that Obama has promised us, he has done his utmost to achieve.
Yeah, hope and change. He hoped everything had changed, and it did.
We got to change, that's for sure.
And I was looking something online the other day, and you now have most Americans are upset with the new Obamacare. That they don't believe anything. There is just a very, very, very few that has benefits that didn't have it before.
Reminder, 2 weeks from today, we're going to have Ed Brown, the CEO of Iowa Clinics, on to talk about some of these issues, Max. So we'll have a bona fide expert that can talk about that issue as well.
All right, we're going to take our last break. 2 minutes. We'll be back live. It's your voice I want to hear. 515-244-0077 right here in Mac's World on The Truth. Powered by WebcastOneLive.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on WebcastOneLive.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
You know, Chris Roloff in his office, by the way, it's 10 before 4 o'clock, 3:50 on the 14th day of June, has this framed. And I'm going to read it to you. You've heard part of it. You probably haven't heard all of it, but you've heard part of it. And I'd like to just kind of share this with you. You know, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us. It is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that is a quote from Marianne Williamson, and I don't know who that is. It's just a frame that's on Chris's desk. And the reason I read it today is because I think we really need to hear some positive news. I think we need to hear the good news of the gospel. I think we need to hear that no matter what's going on this piece of dirt, this earth, this rock, this planet, this place, we need to remember that we are aliens here. We're aliens. If Jesus Christ has fallen in love with you and you have returned the favor, the grace, the mercy, the gift, then we are not supposed to be here. This world was not created for us. This world is broken. It's a world where people who are anti-Christ seem to be reigning at the highest levels. And it didn't just happen in the last week. It happened in the last 100 years. Because it was in the last 100 years that we vacated our morals and those things that kept us as families close. Dinner, Sunday dinner, after church. Time together as a family, reading the Bible or reading the newspaper. Time together as a family, working on the family farm, working in the family business. Family was the most important thing in the world until it wasn't anymore. And who destroyed the family? Well, there's a lot of different angles you can go on that. Some people would say feminism. Some people would say men who just absolutely had to have their way with as many women as they needed to and forgetting the vows that they had on the altar in front of God himself. Some people would say it's latchkey children. Some people would say it's winning World War II.
No fault divorce.
No fault divorce. There you go. Oh, my heavens. But the thing that's wrong with this world and that set this world off isn't any of those things. In fact, the thing that is ruining our world right now has been around since day one. It's called sin. And every sin starts with a lie. Oh, you're not good looking enough. Your husband won't care about you anymore. You should have an affair with somebody at work because that guy, he pays attention to you. And at the lunch hour, he tells you how his marriage isn't any good anymore, and he just needs somebody to hold him and just to love him and just to be there for him. That's a lie. And it goes to the sin of walking away and stepping away from God's will and creating our will? Seriously? Free will? Is that the term that we've now called
sinful nature? You know, the term free will is only in the Bible twice, and it's in the same psalm that David wrote. It's never mentioned by Paul when he speaks of sin. It's never spoken by Mark when he speaks of demons. It's never spoken in Revelation when the new earth, the new Jerusalem, comes down. And finally, this earth is restored to the perfect place that God had created it to be. No, free will is will away from God. And it is anything but free.
Ultimate love demands free will.
Ultimate love demands
free will.
I don't get that.
Would you have your children, your wife, your husband, your parents love you for any other reason than their own free will to do so? If there was any other way they loved you besides free will, it wouldn't be, by definition, love.
So you're telling me that our sinful nature causes us to love our children the way we do?
No, I'm saying that love is based on the premise of freedom to love or freedom to reject. So if your children love you, your wife loves you, your husband loves you, they love you on their own volition, their own free accord to do so. If it was manipulated or coerced in any way, it wouldn't be love.
I don't know what to say to that.
Just say amen. I'm right.
But you're not right. Because what you're saying is I can only love through free will. But I don't love at all unless I've got God. I didn't know love until Jesus mugged me. I didn't know what real love was. I didn't know what hope was. I would read that 1 Corinthians, love is this and love is that and love is this and love is that, and I'd go phooey. And then Jesus, who is real love, it's the only thing he teaches us that he demands that we keep, is to love. And he doesn't tell us just to love our parents or our siblings or our spouse or our children. He goes to real love, the tough love, the fruit at the end of the skinny branches. And that's to love our enemies. What kind of Savior is this? What kind of God is this that tells us to embrace the worst people in our lives? Probably no followers of Jesus. Probably heathens and horrible people. Horrible people who have no hope, no soul, no nothing. They don't know the love of Jesus because they're not willing to surrender their own ability to love in order to feel that. It is a sad world we're living in right now, but you have hope. You have hope that a Savior came, born of a virgin, grew up, taught people love, not law. And then, because God can't stand to see sin, died on a tree so we could return to our Creator in the end. And it's all free. It's all salvation, and it's a gift. Amen.